Good afternoon. This is Jane Bradley. I am a Vermont senior and someone who lives with a disability and a chronic illness. I'm also an employee at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Vermont, and I'm thrilled today to be having a chat with Dr. Kate McIntosh about COVID-19 and its impact, particularly on seniors and people who have chronic illness. Thank you so much, Kate, for being willing to share your knowledge with us today. Can you just talk in general first about what's happening in Vermont? Things have heated up quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. And I'd love to hear you share a little bit more about what is going on currently in Vermont and what we could do to really keep it at bay.
So thank you, Jane, very much for the opportunity to talk about this. Yes, things in Vermont are changing very, very rapidly. And in fact, by the time this video is posted, between now, the time we record it and the time it's posted, things will have changed dramatically again. And therefore, anything that we say in this video may in fact be out of date because things are changing so quickly. But what we do know is this: although Vermont has been very lucky in our amount of COVID, our luck appears to be running out. We have a surge of COVID going on right now, and our person-to-person spread of COVID within this state is currently, as of the day of this recording, the highest in the country. And that is why the governor has issued the kind of orders that he has with regard to inter-household gatherings, because we are trying to lower our curve again and to bring the amount of spread that we have from person to person down to a level at which we no longer have a dramatic rise in cases.
It's really changed a lot just in the last couple of weeks. And it's coming right at a time where we have a lot of holidays, looming up, Thanksgiving and the Christmas and other holidays that happen in December. It's really hard, particularly for those folks who are living alone, to contemplate even having to, go through those holidays at a time where they really want to be with people they love. And let's face it, it's Vermont, it's winter, it's cold, it's dark. We need those sort of moments of light and joy in our life. Do you have any sort of specific advice for older Vermonters as we start to think about how we're going to manage this during the holiday season?
So this is a really difficult time. And it's important to note that the governor's guidance from last week said very specifically that if you are an older Vermonter living by yourself, you may gather with your immediate family. And I think that was done specifically to try to head off that exact kind of loneliness. However, what we do know is that the spread of COVID right now within Vermont is very specifically between households. We're not seeing outbreaks in schools. We're not seeing outbreaks at restaurants. We are seeing outbreaks between families, in family gatherings, and often in small family gatherings where the disease is being spread. So the request from the governor, as painful as it is to not gather in person this year for Thanksgiving or for Christmas to try to bring this under control.
Yeah, it was a really sort of a hard pill for me to swallow, quite frankly, because getting together with my family over the holidays is a tradition that I really enjoy. My husband was just saying the other day, he's like, do you know how many chairs we have and how many plates we have? And I said, well, those are good things because that means that we have big family gatherings with lots of food and lots of plates and lots of chairs. And, always is a tradition in our family. We set extra places because pretty much with any holiday, we have what I call strays who just show up at the last minute for dinner or for dessert. So it's going to be a very different with just the two of us, but we're really thinking, and I'm lucky that I have a partner to share this with, but we're thinking about how do we make this sort of a unique and different holiday, and accept that we aren't going to have that big dinner and we're not going to be getting all the chairs out and the plates. And that's been a little challenging, but I thought, one idea that I had was we could do secret pie delivery maybe just, drop a pie off on somebody's deck and, surprise them. And I think some little sort of secret elf, holiday elf things was an idea that I had that I thought might help me get through it a little bit without coming into contact with anybody.
So one of the hardest things for seniors, I think, is grandchildren and not necessarily being able to see grandchildren. And I know that that is something that's hard for you. I love your secret elf idea. I love your pie idea. Do you have other ideas specifically for grandkids and how to connect with grandchildren in this kind of time?
Well, that has been, and you were absolutely right, Kate. I do have a very close relationship with my grandkids, and I think that's been really the hardest thing. I miss all my friends, but not being able to spend time with my grandkids and cuddle and have overnights has been a huge loss. We've done a couple of things. One thing I did that was really fun, I worked with my oldest granddaughter on a shared story. So I would write the beginning of a story. So I'd write about, maybe a page or a page and a half, and I'd leave it kind of cliffhanging. And then I'd toss it over to her, and then she would take it in whatever direction she wanted to take it. And then she'd toss it back to me. And we did that back and forth for a while. And it was really fun. It was just a fun, creative thing and a way for the two of us to engage. And I do a lot of FaceTime, a lot more FaceTime than I've ever done in my life, with my grandkids, just to talk with them. I have been called upon to be a math tutor, which is almost laughable, because that's not my strongest suit, but I've done that, and it's been fun just to be involved even in their education. And we are going to start this week. We're going to try to do some Zoom family game nights. So we've gone through the games that we typically like to play together, and we thought we could probably pull off charades and categories over Zoom. And so we're going to give that a try this week. And if that works out well, we might start that as a tradition that we can, kind of do once a week from now through the whole winter, just to keep us sane. And the only benefit to having this entire virtual world is that we'll actually be able to bring our son and his partner from California into our family game nights, which we wouldn't be able to do if it was an in-person gathering.
That's great. And I'm glad that you're doing that, because that is exactly what the governor's recommendations are, that we try to stay as separate as we possibly can, because we want to not spread within families and within households. And of course, one of the challenges is that because 45% of individuals, specifically young people, may not in fact know that they have the disease, but still be contagious and still be able to spread it. Gathering in groups presents a special risk to people who are older. And so it's very important to try to find these workarounds so that we can still appreciate the holiday and appreciate trying to be together while at the same time keeping everybody safe. Because a vaccine is on the horizon. We now have 2 vaccines that appear to be effective. There's a lot that we still don't know about them, but they will be probably approved later in December, and then it will take a while to vaccinate everyone. Seniors will be in the second phase, or even possibly in the first phase of vaccination. The very first phase, of course, will be healthcare workers and first responders. But eventually, there is going to be a vaccine, hopefully sometime next year, but we want to keep everyone safe between now and then. So thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you, Kate. Any final thoughts before we close?
I think we're good.
All right. Thanks. It was great talking with you. Take care now.